Well, let's get right into it and let's talk about an America under the presidency of Donald Trump in today's Stream of Consciousness walk and talk video with my co-host Atlas, who is joining us here for this particular conversation. As of course, this video is being shot Monday, November 4th. It's probably going to be released after the elections. We still might not know who the next president of the United States is, but I wanted to build up on my optimism that I did in the previous video where I talked about my larger kind of feelings, where hopefully Donald Trump is the president of the United States. There's no larger problems in our society. We have a peaceful transfer of power, and we have a Donald Trump administration filled with some of the most bad anti-establishment mothers in our society that are going to reign supreme over the bureaucratic New World Orders. Let's hope that's the situation. And this is what a lot of people do with positive visualization. This is what a lot of people do when it comes to, of course, like mind hacking, is they try to see their future. They try to see their things that they're trying to create, sort of like a vision board. But you want to, of course, not just see it, but to feel it. And a lot of people do this, especially when it comes to using the power of the mind to kind of, according to them, success hack. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're specifically going to be talking about the best case scenario in this situation. Donald Trump soundly wins the majority of the delegate and popular vote, along with the House and Senate on November 5th, as the elections are called the night of. As there's going to be a lot of leftists and liberals and Democrats that are going to be really angry, really sad, but Donald Trump goes forward and lays out a message of unity and of peace, declaring, yes, you guys prosecuted me, yes, you guys arrested me, yes, there's even some people that took shots at me, literally and figuratively, but this ends now. We're going to stop with this partisan bull, and we're going to live as Americans, not as liberals and not as Democrats. That's the type of messaging that we need. He's not going to say vengeance. He's not going to say tribunals. He's going to say, we're all going to work this shit out, and we're all going to make this country the greatest country on earth. And we're going to do that by getting rid of government in your life that's intrusive, that's invasive, that wastes your money, as we want you to keep your money. As of course he keeps on his promise, he gets rid of taxes on tips, so more service members get to keep their money. He gets rid of taxes on overtime. Huge portion of money that the people now will be incentivized to work overtime for, rather than of course hand over more than close to half of that to the federal government. As finally, Americans are able to keep most of their wages, as Donald Trump also moves with his next act of getting rid of the income tax and replacing it with tariffs. Tariffs that, of course, spur on an economic boom in this country, since, of course, you could not have to pay taxes if you, of course, manufacture and buy products made and sold here in the United States. Living a tax-free existence, how much money can you keep from that? A fucking lot. Meaning you could buy more, make more, spend more, which the average consumer does. You allow energy to be actually freed in this country. You don't, of course, regulate it. You don't, of course, stop it. You open up the taps. You allow drilling. You allow the larger kind of energy that the United States has to be released, allowing almost all of our consumer goods to dramatically reduce in price. Now, of course, the American public's like, wow, this is a lot more affordable. Why don't we start making a lot of these products here instead of depending on slave labor back in China? Because, of course, we're a lot more prosperous now. We're a lot more free now, as RFK Jr. literally goes into the water supply of this country and turns off the fluoride, unleashing the mental capacity of the American people to be smarter with less reductions in their IQ and cognitive skills. as this larger neurotoxin is released and no longer put in our water supply. Ron Paul, Elon Musk step in to Washington, D.C. They put on their boots, they put on their gloves, and they fire 80% of the U.S. federal government, starting off, of course, with the intel agencies, the banking sector, and the NGO sector that, of course, viciously violates our rights, our liberties, and financial security in front of us. Untapped potential of the American mind, of the American infrastructure, of the American powerhouse that it is. We finally now are negotiating from a position of strength on the world stage, where we go in and say, that's it. This war is dumb, it's over. And we start, of course, imposing our ideas through trade, rather than, of course, bombs that we pay for, and then the reconstruction of whatever those bombs destroyed that we also pay for at the same time. Spending a lot less on the military-industrial complex, allowing private enterprises like Elon Musk's satellite and SpaceX larger companies out there to, of course, thrive in the free market, rather than, of course, these bloated fat cat government agencies that don't really do jack instead of sit on, as of course there's no incentives for them to even provide you a good service. We move forward in a way where Democrats are starting to understand, hey, maybe there is some value here when it comes to taking care of ourselves, exercising, being incentivized to, of course, eat meals not filled with preservatives, seed oils, poisons, gums, and all this other artificially fake produced bull that robs us of our health. As of course we get rid of poison, you get rid of the fluoride, and you start seeing a lot more healthier people out there. You start seeing a population that now finally gets to keep a lot of their money. You start seeing a population that can now finally afford the cost of living. You see a larger financial renaissance, but you also see a boom in people saying, you know what? I don't need government, but I definitely do need a family. I definitely do need some kind of larger connection to the spiritual, to the larger kind of religion. And you see people kind of revert away from their hedonistic, glorified, dopamine-induced comas, as they now say, wait, my human relations with each other are amazing, as of course they're no longer clouded by sickness, illness, and the feeling of fat all around them. They're now realizing my life has value. It's meaningful. I get to work out. I get a good family. I get to keep my money. I get to innovate. I get to create opportunities for other people. I get to work an honest living where I don't have to pay for somebody else who's sitting on their not doing jack. As of course the people sitting on not doing jack will now understand, well, I got to get up. I got to do. Big Daddy government's not going to come in and save me. I got to save myself. What am I going to do? How am I going to help out the general public? What services, what products can I provide them that will create a free market of opportunities, of individuals that will support me, buy me, and of course decide to give money to my business that's based off the products that I produce for them. How will I be able to make a better impact in this world through my own individual actions? And that right there, as the federal government no longer is spying and snooping on you, as the federal government no longer is wasting your money, as they're no longer bombing people, as there's no longer any kind of larger karmic ramifications of the U.S. empire causing death and gloom around the world, the karmic energy kind of shifts spiritually towards more positive, harmonious, beautiful thoughts, ideas, projects, and ideas that now have a larger kind of renaissance in our modern day society that is literally being determined by the will and aspirations of the average American man and woman who know it, that if they decide to do good, good things will happen to them. And no longer are they at the will and beck and call of government bureaucrats who will destroy their lives because they f***ing felt like it. Their lives are their own hands and their own hands only. And they decide their faith. Live a good life, good things will happen. That right there is the American dream. And it could come true if Donald Trump becomes the next president of the United States. Now this video is going to be after the election. We still probably won't know what's going on. But if we do, let's think of a positive future. That's the future that I envision. SaveLukeNow.com. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more on LukeUnfiltered.com as well.